everybody, it's me, Just Artful, and today we're going to be making some scars for Halloween. So let's do it. Some things that you will need in order to make these spooky scars is some glue, white school glue. I would suggest Elmer's glue, paintbrushes, or you can also use some makeup brushes too, and Q-tips and stuff, whatever you have around the house. Some tissue paper. I would recommend using white tissue paper, but if you can't find that, I would suggest using a light yellow or any light colors. And then makeup. Any makeup, face paint, or eyeshadow that you have, we will be using either a black or a dark brown, a pink and a purpley tone. And so let's begin. So first I just cut up a ripped up piece of my tissue paper into a long strip. Then you're going to wrinkle it up into a ball and slowly unravel it. So you have a nice wrinkly surface. Next, you're going to take your glue and take off the cap, or you could pour it into a container if you'd like, and just dip your paintbrush. Then you're just going to dip your paintbrush into it gently so you don't have too much, and then you're going to, I would advise someone to help you with this part as it does get a little tricky. You're just going to kind of glue it down basically. So I'm going to actually put glue on my arm. That way it will be easier to place this down. And then you're just going to put some more glue over top, or in other places where it's not sticking as well. You can also create texture with the glue by adding in certain clumps or smushing it down to create bubbles and texture. So once you have your first piece of tissue paper laid down on your arm and it's pretty secured, as you will probably be trick-or-treating or going to party in this, you're going to take your leftover tissue paper and just going to rip off a piece, and then you're going to twist it. So it's pretty twisted. Now I'm going to place it on my outer rim of my first tissue paper. And just kind of place it on. And then I'm gonna, like the same we did before, we're going to just put glue over top of it. It stays more secure. like so. So now we have an outer rim, and you're just going to continue the process until your whole entire scar is covered, is like bordered with rolled up tissue paper. So now that we've completed our tissue paper, you can put away your tissue paper and your glue. Put that aside and clean any paintbrushes or other utensils or containers that you've used. As now we're just going to let the glue dry, which should take only a few minutes. If you would like to speed up the process, you could use a blow dryer. But we're just going to let it dry, and then we're going to put some makeup on it. So I'll see you soon. Once your scar has dried, we're going to be using eyeshadow. Now, first step we're going to be doing is we're going to make this bright yellow match more to our skin tone. Now, you could use a foundation, but not many people do have foundation, or it's hard for them to find a foundation that is close to their skin tone, as mine is really red. Gets red a lot, so I'm going to actually be using eyeshadow. You could also use face paint, but I'm using eyeshadow, and I'll be taking this more kind of beigey color here, and just putting it all over it, so at least it will be not as yellow as scars aren't yellow, but again, it will be hard to match my skin tone. So you're just going to put this all over it. It will take a lot of coats, as this is bright yellow, but if you're using a white or maybe a pale pink, it will be much faster. As you can see here, here it already is looking at least more kind of, it's not a complete skin tone color. This is not foundation or maybe face paint, but do not worry too much as matching it completely to your skin tone, since we will be putting blacks and purples and pinks to make it look bruised and wounded. But just try and get it close to it, so we have a base to start our other makeup on. Now, if you find that the edges are not getting as skin tony as this flapper here, you can add a bit of water to your pale one just by putting it on your paintbrush. A bit of water and putting it into it so it becomes more of a paint. That way you can get more of the rim area, as the rim that will be the hardest if you do not have foundation and stuff like that, as it's the most yellow since we rolled it up. So I am using and then you can also, if you get some on the edges, blend it out a bit into your normal skin tone so that way it looks more realistic. This will also flatten out your rim a bit. That way it's not too much popping out, because we do not want it to be round, too round, as it's popping out a lot. So this flattens it, and that way it's easier to work with. So if you get to an area where you feel is good, which I feel mine is pretty good, since we will be putting more makeup on top of it, I say this is pretty good. But you can also add more if you'd like, if you feel necessary. I now will be taking my dark brown, but you can also use a black, and putting a lot of it on my paintbrush. And now I'll be going in the creases that we have. Kind of dabbing it in the creases of our wound. And then you can put a light coat of your brown or black over the center. And then take again and put it a light coat over your rim. Okay, and you can just wash out your paintbrush, and then we will be moving on to a next color. I've washed my paintbrush. Now I will be going in with the pink I have here. It's more of it's not super duper pink, it's more of a orangey tinted pink, blush kind of. And I'm just going to be putting it in the center. You don't have to worry about putting too much. Just going to be putting it in the center. That way our black outline really pops. And then you can put some on the outside Now I will be taking my purple here and going to putting a lot of it in the center. Then I'll be adding just a tiny, very small amount of water. And your scar is completed, but I am choosing to add a bit of blood. You can get this at any Halloween store. And I'll just be putting a bit on my paintbrush. To add more spookiness. You want to put this right in the center. Just dab it on. You want to dab it mainly in the center. You can also add a bit to the rim. I'm just taking whatever's left over on my brush and dabbing it on the outside. And your scar is completed.